Hey guys, it's Ellen and welcome to my channel. Well, today we're working on another kind of abstract expression landscape. It's not really abstract so much, more of an expression because you can actually see what it is. But yes, just get you loose, get you seeing how you can just move and manipulate paint, color, play, take a simple photograph and change it into something different. So I go over this step by step. If you have any questions, please leave in the comment section. Also, if you haven't hit the bell notification button, please do so you know my tutorial's up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, and a live stream on the top tier once a month for me, as well as a download. It's just a place people go and to help support my channel, which I appreciate so much. So you can check that out right up here in a second. Yeah, so yes. We're going to have fun today in the landscape. That's what you guys were asking for. And let's get started. Okay guys, I'm going to go over my supplies. I have a piece of Arsh 100% cotton cold pressed paper. It's a 7 by 10 inch piece. I just taped down with Scotch tape onto some cardboard so I can maneuver it, play around with it, go like that. Paper towels. And we're using my paints. I'll be using the Princeton number 12 Neptune series. In my 8 long round series. I might play around with a credit card today, just an old credit card. My paints are in my palette that I talked about I use. I'll be using Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, neutral tint, burnt umber, peacock blue, cadmium yellow deep. I'm using this cadmium red light and probably some gouache. I gave you a link to this house, but really you see how I've just made mine smaller back here. It's just if you want to look at the house and the placement of the trees for this little abstract. But again, I'm not following the house to the T. I didn't do the side roof here. I just did the basic simple triangle roof shape here. You know, you just draw a square with the triangle and a little window, and then you go in a diagonal because of perspective, and then do that. It's just a fun exercise and do a little more abstract landscape, you know, just get a little loose. So let's mix up some paint. I'm going to grab some water on my number 12 brush. Going to mix up some nice greens. I've got the cadmium yellow light here. Going to put it over here in a couple places. Grab some peacock blue and make a nice bright green. I like this bright, loose chartreuse green. I'm gonna grab some more of this paint. Make it less watery. We can use that similar green here and add some Prussian blue, and you get the deeper green. And I always like to add a little burnt umber to it, just so it's not like this cheesy green. We'll loosen up some ultramarine blue, and I'm going to just take my brush and loosen up some of this neutral tint color. And yeah, I'll get some of this red a little bit loose too. Just get the colors activated because we're going to be playing around with throwing the color back on each other. So this photograph, I'm not really going by it. It's the sky. I can keep the sky blue. I can make it any color I want. I could have it pretend there's trees in the woods. I kind of wanted to do like a tree in the woods, so I'll take the photograph. I'm not going to do exactly as you see there. Might grab some yellow and some burnt umber. I'm just abstract. Play around with how you want it to look, right? Obviously, we keep the house, you know, more realistic. I did take out the fireplace also because I can and as I wanted to. So I'm just going to grab some yellow actually and go right in here, go right next to the house, and then some of the green. You can play around with moving the paint around, but just kind of lifting up your whole cardboard piece, kind of moving around like this. See? Still kind of like not touch the house. painting around the house. You can grab some more concentrated yellow. You can grab some of this green, and even some of that darker green, just tap some of that in. Play around with that. Abstract to me is like play, grab some blues, greens. I'm just using the tip of my brush, just kind of playing around with moving it around. Might grab some of this Prussian blue up here, just kind of tap it in here. Let's see where this goes. I'm going to start adding some greens back here on the side of the house. Again with my number 12, just kind of pushing that around like that. See, I'm highlighting the house. I might have made mine a little bit skinnier, but it's alright. I'm going to go add some dark green. Some of this yellow. If you wanted to put some of the blue in for the sky, you could do that. So I'm going to grab some of my ultramarine blue, play around with it up in here. Don't be afraid to play, guys. Just kind of moving the paint around. See? Good. A little bit more blue. I wasn't going to do the, oops, don't want to get the house. So I have to fix that right away. Kind of painting around the house. Didn't want to get that house. Add a little blue so it could peekaboo some of the color. Just taking the tip of my brush, grabbing some ultramarine right there, you see that? And kind of mushing that around. Alright, I don't want to get too crazy with the blue. Might just add a little more brighter blue up in here. There we go. Now I did sketch like this tree, and the big predominant tree you see in here. I'm going to have fun with that. But generally, you see it's just a lot of green and yellow. Just taking the yellow and the green, mixing up some greens. We're going to get loose. See, I'm just moving the brush like this. I'm standing up, by the way. You can grab some dark green here. Don't be afraid to use the paint. Clean up my brush. Come back in and grab some of this yellow. Again. Like the sun. And more yellow. Maybe grab a little burnt umber. See, I'm just see how I'm moving my hand like this? Kind of do that. Tap it back. Grab some, just taking the brush and you're just kind of playing and tapping it back, dapping it down. I'm going to grab some more bright green. I'm making my yellow a little messy, but that's okay. Gonna go back in here, put some more bright yellow. Trying not to hit the house now. Trying to be conscious of that. We have this dark tree that's going to be in here. Now, I did the picture horizontal and this is more of a vertical, so I'm just going to imagine what I would put over here. And that's good. So see, I'm holding it on the side, doing more of a dry brush. Get some more of this peacock blue, makes a nice pretty green. Now at this point you can kind of bleed some of the paint down. I'm going to grab some of this peacock blue, yellow, make a nice bright green. What I mean by that, I didn't mention that I have a spray bottle also. Grab some Prussian, just a burnt umber here. See, I'm just mixing up some greens, tapping them here. I have a spray bottle. It's a cheap little thing you can buy at like any craft store. Now I'm spraying the area underneath. It's white, so this could not bleed. Gonna roll off. It's gonna make a little bit of a mess, but we want this expression. You can kind of lift it up with your paintbrush and kind of push the paint. I didn't really move the paint around as much as I wanted to. Maybe I have to fill up my thing more. There we go. I had to really spray it. It's just creating a lot of drips. These veins, which I love. Now you might want to put a towel down underneath here. Look at that. Very expression. Getting us out of the comfort zone, making some of that dark green, bleeding it. Grab some Prussian blue and some burnt umber. Kind of, well, if you can kind of hold it up, I have it against my water jar, and kind of splatter it going downward. I'm grabbing some lighter green. Look at that. I just love the expression of that. Now we're going to go back in. But this is a little, lift this up, paper towel, with some of this extra color. It's dripped down. Some more of this yellows, greens over here. I'm going to grab some more yellow. And I'm going to put some out here too. Just rolling my brush. Just getting very expression-ish. Up where the trees are. Can add some greens up here. Mixing up some more green. The Prussian blue green. I like to get messy. Some people don't. So I'm still using the 12. And I'm just going to put some water up in here. I'm going to flip this around and grab my dark greens. With some burnt umber, Prussian blue. I'm going to bleed these guys. Grab some more water. Very wet. Look at that. Let that bleed off. Even some neutral tint I just threw in there. More light green. Now obviously you're going to have to lift up some of that paint that dripped off. Going back with my brush, getting some water, kind of just pushing this paint around. And again dripping it down. Let's see what we got. Ooh, I like that. I think I need something in here too. Just playing around with the tree was going to be very dark, so I don't want to get too dark over here because the tree is going to get pretty dark. Just playing around with adding in some greens. Because you see there's all these little twigs and leaves in here. Like I said, you don't have to follow the picture. We're going to just do our own expression of how it looks. I mean, at this point, you could take your Princeton 8 and you could draw some of the twigs. So I've got the burnt umber here. Mix it with the neutral tint. You come down here, even though it's dry, you can have these expressive twigs. See? Just kind of like, they're all like over the place. And they'll bleed up in this kind of area, and they'll straight dark in the bottom. But the whole point is to be expressive. And it's getting that feeling. You know, like the twigs are in the woods and they're going crazy. And you get the trees. It's still very wet to get the trees in there right now. But you can start to play around with it a little bit. There's a predominant twig here. I just kind of want to show you how you can play around with just a simple picture of a house in like a wood landscape. And then you just go ahead and have fun playing with the twigs. See? Now at this point I might add in some accents. Take that red, just kind of throw it in a little bit as I can. Just gonna water this down. I'll put a little red in here and we'll grab some yellow. Why not? There are no rules. I can do what I want. I'll do what I want. All right, at this point I'm going to start working on the house. Grab, we want to make browns or grays, so get burnt umber. The gray, this is all green. I'm going to remove this. You can make it any color you want, but I'm just going to fill this in. Some neutral tint, some burnt umber mixed in. A little dark under here and under here. Clean off my brush. Kind of just push that paint down a little bit lighter. So I'm going to clean off the brush, grab some water, and make this area lighter. Can kind of bleed that. I don't know why I have this. I drew a window here. I didn't, because there's only one window there. It's kind of bleeding in the color. There is a little window down here, but don't worry about it too much. So I'm taking concentrated paint color, which is this brown, neutral tint. Just going right down in here. Holding it on its side. See how I'm holding it on its side? I'm not really worried about if the house looks perfect or not. I'm just not. And then the side of the house. Get a little bit darker. There's the window and the door. So now it already looks like a different house than the one we just took the picture of, but that's fine because we want it to be different. You're getting inspired from what you saw. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that. I'm going in and grabbing neutral tint itself, really concentrated. Just going to put that right in here for the window. And this one too. And it doesn't show that in the picture, but it doesn't matter. I'm leaving white around it. Doing the same thing over here too. It's almost dry painting. Very minimal water. This one needs a little bit of water. Side. Now we have the roof. I'd water it down more like, or I can make like a rust color. It doesn't show it. Maybe we could use the red that way. So I've added some of that neutral tint to the red. Maybe some burnt umber. Yeah, a little rusty color. Let's get some red in there. Red and green's a complement color, so they look nice together. Maybe a little more red. Like a red rusty roof. I'm going to water it down for the top area a little bit later. With the sun sparkling on that side. You can see it kind of in the photograph, how the sun's hitting the top part. So I want to kind of mimic that, but with the red. So I'm just going to put a little bit line going across here and leave the rest white. take that same color and kind of just go on the side a little bit here. Maybe make it a little bit darker. I'm holding the the paintbrush like a pen. See? A little house in the woods. Now this part I'll wait till it dries. I want to get a little bit darker, like almost blackish in here. This little corner, the shadow. And it's a little bit dry. Yeah. Get those details. You kind of put those details in. You could put in siding if you want. I mean, this has like little shingles. You can just take your brush and just kind of, that was a little too big, but the tip of it, little lines go across. Mine got a little too big. That's okay. And again, gonna get a little bit darker on the side here. Fill in these little white spaces. I do want this to dry a little bit. See, it got a little wet and was kind of bleeding in here because I was trying to just do it all at once, but sometimes you have to wait. But I'm liking how this looks, right? Well, this part is mostly dry now. You can go in and take the number 10. What did I have there? Do I have a 10 or 12? Whatever. You can take a 12 or a 10. We can play around with that tree. Grab the neutral tint. And there's this big tree here. Just goes right up. Sound effects and all. And a little branch here. It's a little wet, so I'm going to get concentrated color. A little branch. You might not want to use this for your branches because it's a thick brush, but if you can play around with doing that. And then these trees over here, they're not the same color, so maybe I'll make them a little bit lighter. Grab some yellow. A nice brown. Play around with this color. I might use a smaller brush for this. I think I will use a smaller brush for that. So I'll use my Princeton 8. Grab a little black. And they have branches coming off them. You know. And then there's other trees behind him. Just playing around with, you know, you don't have to follow the total part of the photograph. You just play around adding as many trees as you like. I'm going in and adding some of the trees that were kind of off to the side. Putting the branches. Just grabbing the black. So you get that movement again with your hand. Just add those branches coming off this bottom area. Get a little more intense with the black. And go back in and add some of these branches. So we've created our own little house in the hill, you know. Go back in here and some branches. Get this a little bit darker still. Grab the neutral tint right off the tube. Some more branches. Now I want to play around with the color more in here. But we're almost there. Again, grabbing this brush. Start grabbing some greens. I'm just going to play around with just kind of tapping in. See how I'm just kind of tapping in the green. And some blues. I don't want my my color just went. You could splatter some of this, get it more expressive. Add some more yellow. Thinking back here, it's I kind of lost some of its color that I wanted. And then here. Now I want the greens to kind of go up to the house. Kind of like enveloping the house, you know. Grabbing all these colors to make these different tones of green. I'm just tapping in. You could splatter some of it, like I said, get more expression. But this is how I go about taking a simple photograph and changing it to be more expressive, abstract kind of look. You know, you guys have to figure out if you like that or not. You might not like that. I'm adding in some neutral tint and some greens, some peacock blue. I do want to add color over here by the tree. I don't want to fill the whole page. That's another thing. You can leave some white. Don't feel like you have to fill the whole page. So I'm going to leave this the way that is. I'm just going to tap in some yellows just to brighten that up. Something in here. I'm just kind of tapping the color in. There are some greens up here. You can just kind of loosely roll your brush or tap in some color. If you want to make it expressive, just really kind of just throw it up in there like that. See, I'm holding on inside. Now, the credit card, see, it's still kind of damp. You do the scrapes when it's damp. You can see more of the white. If it's not damp, it will fill in, which is kind of cool too. So I'm making some big grasses now. You can hear it. Again, that will give it more of an expression look. Right? Don't feel like you have to put so much color into it. You could take like a paper towel and kind of lift up some. I didn't want all that color. That creates another look too. See, you have the edge still there, and you lift it up with the paper towel, and you get this nice, like, ooh, like the sun's peeking through there, just like that. If you want to try and splatter some white gouache, it's got chalk in it. Let's see what happens. My gouache is kind of dirty right now. I'm going to clean it up and activate it. While this is all still damp, some parts, not all of them. Does that really nice, cool effect where it moves the paint around. Just in some areas. And then when this is kind of dry, you can go back in and take your darker colors and just tweak under the roof, over in here, the windows. All that fun stuff. Make it a little bit darker. Just a little shadow here. And we can make the greens up in here just a tad bit darker. Gonna add some like grasses, green grasses. See, just tap, tap, tap with the color. I'm gonna add some, see, it's still wet in here, so I can add in some darker tones. Don't be afraid, guys, to play around with that. My expression of this house and wherever it is. In the fields, in the woods. I'm going out in some like little leaves up in here. It's fun to have like the really big abstract and then just throw in some little details. You know, go back in and grab some more of this dark color and branches. Real expressive branches coming in here. Oh yeah. Kind of lost my tree, but that's okay. That's the whole point of it. It's abstract. Playing around. And that's it. A little more branches up in here. Oops! That was wet. Don't you love when I make a mistake? Little branches kind of bleeding in here. It's always good to have the paper towel close by in case you make a mistake. Throwing in some branches up in this way. Alright, I think we played around enough. Like I said, you can throw in some salt in here, or if you want to just tap some white gouache. See, whoop. I'm doing a whoop. See what happens. I like to tap it sometimes too. It kind of creates that kind of fun little spider thing going on. All right, so let's see what we got. We remove the tape. Like I said, play around with adding more color, the red, the yellows. Do what makes you happy. Look at all that expressive little house in the forest. I mean, I might go in and add little bits and take my brush and maybe add some bits of leaves, but generally I want to keep it simple. See? So I hope you guys enjoyed this landscape. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and check out my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Take care and have a great day.